since the public wouldn't be speaking at this meeting, only viewing, and we are able to make arrangements for the meeting to be viewed, given the hour and the technical difficulties with doing this live. I will proceed with the meeting. I'll note that the meeting was called to order at 2:06 p.m., but immediately entered executive session for the purpose of hearing the recommendations of probable cause panels on 2 separate complaints. And then we have been waiting to resume the meeting to address some technical difficulties, which have now been addressed through the recording of the meeting for later posting on the internet as opposed to a live feed. I will at this time take a roll call vote so that anyone viewing this recording will be aware of who's who. I'm Judge Michael Albus. I'm the chairperson of the Standing Committee on Guardians ad litem and Attorneys for the Minor Children. And when I call your name, please, if your camera is off, turn it on and just indicate your presence. Judge Jennifer Macharowski.
Here.
Attorney Mark Korber.
Here.
Mr. Stephen Carragher.
Here.
Attorney Justine Rakic-Kelly.
Here.
Attorney Susan Hamilton.
Here.
Ms. Liza Andrews.
Here.
Attorney Danielle Rado.
Here.
And absent from the meeting is Attorney Brian Caffarelli. We also have in the meeting of the committee's staff, Damon Goldstein and Laura Orlowski, and from the Office of Bar Counsel, Attorney Michael Bowler and Attorney Jen Gagosh. Did I say that right?
Yes.
Thank you. And thank you for joining us. Before we turn to the recommendations that were made according to the agenda, let's first discuss review and approval of the meeting minutes for March 25th, 2021. Has everyone had a chance to review those? And if so, is there a motion to approve those minutes?
Judge, if we can just, if I can interrupt for a moment, just looking to make one technical correction to the minutes is just to change the title Attorney Bowler to counsel to the committee, as opposed to what currently exists on the draft minutes. Okay.
Is there a motion to amend the minutes? Correct the minutes to state Michael Bowler was counsel for the committee rather than statewide bar counsel.
So moved.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor of approving? Any other corrections or amendments to the minutes? Okay, then why don't we take one vote both on that amendment and on the minutes as a whole? All in favor of approving the minutes with that correction, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, the minutes are approved. The next item on the agenda is possible removal of individuals from the list of persons qualified to serve as the guardian ad litem or attorney for the minor child. The first complaint is number 21-0003. We discussed this in executive session and heard the recommendation of the probable cause panel that a finding of no probable cause be made. Is there a motion to accept that recommendation and make it the decision of the full committee?
So moved.
Second.
Second, Your Honor.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you. The recommendation of no probable cause finding is adopted unanimously. The next complaint is number 21-0004. And again, in executive session, the committee heard the recommendation of the probable cause panel that a finding of no probable cause on this complaint be made. Is there a motion to accept that recommendation and make it the final decision of the committee, full committee on this complaint?
So moved.
Second,
Second.
Second.
any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? And the recommendation of a finding of no probable cause in that matter is also adopted unanimously as the decision of the full committee. And thank you again to both probable cause committees for your timely and thorough work on those two matters. The next agenda item is changes to the active list of persons qualified to serve as GAL AMC. I believe we all received from Damon by email some correspondence from several persons who had been removed from the list, largely for clerical reasons, and seek reinstatement. But turn to Damon now and ask him in whatever order he wishes to summarize those matters, and then we can discuss.
Okay. Thank you, Judge. The first. Did anybody hear that?
Nope.
Or is that hear that audio?
I hear you. It's a little choppy. Let me mute, and maybe anyone else who's not muted can do so. We'll see if that improves it while Damon is speaking.
I'm hearing I'm hearing other audio through my speakers. Okay. I think I identified the problem. Okay, I apologize. There was other audio playing at the same time. I still whatever. Anyway, there was another window open that just started playing spontaneously. The first request is from attorney Suzanne Sneerly. Attorney Sneerly actually initiated contact by email, and then I followed up with her with a phone call because this is a little bit of a unique situation. Attorney Sneerly was able to provide me with a reply that she sent to the committee to the committee in response to its annual request for updated information back in 2019 that we never received. And what Attorney Sneerly explained to me, and she states, as I explained, for some reason, the judicial branch's server rejects our firm address email, and I now have to use a different account to communicate with the branch. She didn't realize the problem went back as far as 2019. And she then again provided the reply that she had sent that stated that she was an attorney in good standing, did not have a criminal record, and did not appear on the DCF Central Registry, and that she was in compliance with the relevant practice book rules, including the continuing education requirements. And so on that basis, she's requesting reinstatement because she had replied previously, and we never got it.
And Damon, when was she removed from the list? Was it January of 2020?
That's correct, Judge, yes.
Any questions for Damon? Is there a motion to reinstate Attorney Sneerly to the list? And it seems to me this, under these circumstances, I don't know that she asked for retroactive reinstatement, but since it appears she did respond, that might be appropriate to consider.
Yes, Your Honor. If I may, I do know Attorney Sneerly quite well. I've known her for upward, of 20 plus years. She has acted as guardian in several of my files over the years. I do believe that she is still a fairly active guardian. So my best guess would be that she has cases that are pending and has had cases pending in that capacity over the last several years. So my guess would be that retroactivity would make sense. And she's eminently qualified. As I said, I've had many matters with her. She's a very good guardian.
All right, and is that a motion then to reinstate her retroactive to, was it January 1st, 2020? Would that be the right date, Damon?
Yeah, that's correct, Judge.
So moved, Your Honor.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? Any abstentions? All right, it was adopted unanimously. It does appear that Attorney Corbett had to leave the meeting, at least temporarily. So for purposes of the minutes, he is not among those voting on that particular motion.
I am back, Your Honor.
Oh, you're back?
Yes. And I
All
did
right.
vote aye, but I was muted.
Okay, now I see you. Thank you. So then it was unanimous, including Attorney Corbett. The next one, Damon?
Okay, the next request is from Attorney Kelly Therian. Attorney Therian emailed indicating that she had fallen off the list because she was not often appointed and did not take the steps necessary to remain on the list. She indicates that she meets the criteria set forth in practice book section 25-62, and she would consider taking sliding scale cases, and she would also consider contracting with the Division of Public Defender Services after learning more details. And then I followed up with her. She subsequently replied that she is also in compliance regarding continuing education requirements for guardians ad litem.
Hey, any questions of Damon about Attorney Therian's request? Is there a motion to restore her to the list?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, I'll just add that Attorney Therian practices frequently in my court. I think that's the primary court where she does practice. She's based in Middletown. She's an excellent attorney. She has not served as a guardian ad litem, to my memory, in recent years, so I don't think any retroactivity is at issue. I think this actually came about because there was a case where parties agreed to a guardian ad litem and wanted to appoint her, and in checking the list, that's when we realized that she had dropped off. So she has not been appointed in that case yet, likely will be if she's reinstated, but I don't think any retroactivity would be needed. But I think she's very qualified and as indicated, she meets all the requirements. So any further question or comment? And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay, thank you. Then it's unanimous that Attorney Therian is reinstated to the list. Damon, the next one you wish to take up?
Okay, the next request is from Attorney Mark Henderson. Attorney Henderson indicated that his name was originally removed from the list because his name was removed this past January. His name was originally removed from the list because he did not respond to the notice last fall. He never received the notice because it was sent to an old email address at a firm that he left. He is in good standing at the bar and has completed all the necessary certifications to continue to act as a GAL AMC. He's willing to accept cases that utilize the sliding fee schedule. He would consider, he says, a position with the Public Defender's Office if a contract was ever offered, and is requesting reinstatement.
Any questions about this applicant? Is there a motion to restore Attorney Henderson to the list?
So moved.
So,
Second?
second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, by unanimous vote, Attorney Henderson is restored to the list, and I think we have one more, Damon, is that right?
That's correct. The final request is from Attorney Thomas Fiorentino. And actually, I heard from his office yesterday requesting reinstatement. Attorney Fiorentino states that he has been representing children in the family court since 1983. Earlier in his career, he worked in both juvenile and family court. Currently, he represents children exclusively in the family court, except he remains willing to represent children in juvenile court on a pro bono basis. He said, pursuant to practice book section 25-62, he is an attorney in good standing, licensed to practice law in the state of Connecticut. He does not have a criminal record. that he certifies that he does not appear on the DCF Central Registry of Child Abuse and Neglect. He indicates also further that he serves as a special master in the family court and has served as a special master in the Middletown Regional Family Trial Docket. He is in compliance with continuing legal education requirements, and he's willing to accept cases on a sliding fee scale.
And Damon, he did not renew or provide the information this most recent time.
That's correct, Judge.
And although the email from his office in closing his request indicates that they believe what happened was his longtime paralegal passed away suddenly last year, and they were not quite as organized as normal because of that. He's someone, I'll say, it may be appropriate to consider, if we do reinstate him, to do so retroactively, given the circumstances here. And I know he serves in many cases. Is there a motion to restore Attorney Fiorentino to the list?
Your Honor, I'll move to restore Tom Fiorentino to the list and to make it retroactive to the date of his removal.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, now I'll add that he's been a guardian ad litem in many cases that I've presided over, especially when I was in Hartford. He really is an excellent guardian ad litem and has helped parties and the court in some very difficult cases. So I would certainly support his reinstatement.
And Mike, maybe I'll add as well that he's active in this area, Tolland as well, and has handled a lot of cases for the court, including, as Judge Albus indicated, some difficult cases. And I know he currently has cases, so the retroactivity is appropriate.
Thank you. Any further comment? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstentions? All right, Attorney Fiorentino is unanimously restored to the list. So that completes our changes to the active list. The next item on the agenda is the pre-service training. And I believe everyone should have received from Damon an outline of the proposed curriculum with dates and speakers and subject matter to be covered on each date. I want to first thank the committee, the subcommittee that did all this work, and apologize for my inability to join you at your meetings, but looks like the best thing I did here was just get out of the way. You did a fine job. Attorney Hamilton, you wish to comment on the proposed curriculum?
Sure, Your Honor. Thank you for that. And I did want to also echo the thanks to the committee that's been working on this with us, Liza and Justine, and all the speakers who have, and Damon, of course, providing the support, and all the speakers who have actually agreed to, present for us again this year. And I do apologize for the somewhat lateness of getting the draft outline to all of you, but I was trying to include as much of the detail in here as we could, so it was comprehensive for you. And just by way of background, and we probably had discussed it at one of the prior meetings of the larger standing committee, but the content is very similar to the training that we had done in person in 2018, with a few minor tweaks that I'll go over. But the feedback that we got from the 2018 training, as you all may recall, we had done extensive surveys after each of the training sessions and really tried to incorporate the feedback from those surveys into what we are have included in this outline. And so it will be, much of it, the content will look similar to what we did do in 2018. A few changes that we made to the training agenda and the curriculum itself was on the second day of the training. We did break this up, of course, too, because it's virtual, that we're going to do them over 8 2-hour sessions versus 2.5 full days of training. And we've built in some homework assignments as well to cover the 20 hours that's required by the practice book. But on the second day of the training, we have added breakout rooms. We didn't do this in 2018, but the feedback we had gotten was that for some of the non-attorney GALs, they felt that they needed a little bit more kind of guidance on the legal aspects of what goes on in family court cases. And for the more experienced lawyers who are now becoming GALs, they felt that they didn't need as much of that and wanted more to talk about the specific roles of the GAL. So on day 2, we did add some breakout sessions that will allow the registrants to pick which group they would like to participate in for that type of more focused, discussion and conversation. So that was one change. And then we also did make a change to one of the presenters and topics. We had in 2018 had a speaker who was going to be presenting and did present on communicating with children, but it was really focused more on interviewing and communicating with children in the context of forensic interviewing, which was slightly different than really what we wanted the GALs to have training on with regards to communicating with kids and interviewing. So Dr. Humphrey is going to do that portion instead of the prior speaker, and that's on day 4 of the training. But I think as you look through the agenda, it is, I think pretty comprehensive and really touches on all of the things that we think all of the GAL should receive training on. The courtroom practice is also slightly different this year, and we have Joe DeTuno, who did present in 2018. He's going to focus a little bit more on some of the new procedures in family court, not only the virtual nature of some of those proceedings, but also some of the new ways the court is moving those cases through and docketing some of those cases in a different way than they had in 2018. So that's a slightly different component as well. But we are covering substance abuse, domestic violence, mental health, trauma, cultural competence, and we have a DCF piece, child development, and again, communicating with children, court pieces. Substance abuse, as I said, we did add a speaker on that. Dr. Frazier had done it in 2018. He's going to do it again this year. But we added Stephen Paymer, who some of you may know, who provides some direct consultation, I think testifies often too, in the testing component of cases that involve substance abuse issues. So he and Dr. Frazier will be partnering on one of the days to do that piece. Anything that I'm missing in terms of the topics, and again, you can certainly take a closer look at the details. The outline that I sent, basically I just incorporated the feedback from each of the speakers and put it into this outline so that you could see sort of what each of the speakers intends to talk about. But either Liza or Justine, anything else that you'd want to add about the curriculum itself, or any questions from the group?
It looks like the other subcommittee members don't have anything to add. They can jump in as we go along if they do, but does anyone have any question or comment?
I should also note, just that you all know too, we will do surveys after we've created a survey form, and the registration link is up. Thank you, Damon. It's on our website and on Judicial's website, I think, or the Standing Committee's page. I think it links to our page, and we've got about 15 people, I think, signed up so far. And we didn't anticipate a huge group. When we did it in 2018, it had been some time since we had done it, and I think we just had a little under 50 people. There's still a couple of weeks, but if there's any groups that any of the committee members or any ideas as to who the link could be shared with, if you think there's other groups that might not know it's there, we will routinely get questions here as to when trainings are going to be offered. We always tell folks to just keep an eye out on our website, but certainly feel free to share it. But we will do the registrations up. The surveys will be done after each of the sessions. We are, of course, doing it virtually we are going to use Zoom, which I think I confirmed with Damon that would be okay to use that platform. We are going to require everybody just to ensure that people are actually in the meeting for the full 16 hours of live training, that they have to be in, their videos have to be on. I'm sure they won't love that necessarily, but that will be one of the sort of the housekeeping issues we'll discuss at the beginning. And then also there's a mechanism in Zoom that we'll be able to see that people actually stayed logged in the whole time. We also have a facilitator lined up for each of the sessions to make, monitor the chat and, troubleshoot anything that might come up during the session. And I guess the only question I had, or I think the committee had for the group that we sort of tabled for the full committee, we hadn't historically had or permitted students who are in their final year of either a mental health field that will be eligible post-licensure for GAL appointments, or third-year law students. Some had attended in the past just by virtue of they had asked if they could sit in, and they did. They didn't go through the formal registration process, and I think it had only happened a handful of times. But there had been a request to open up the registration opportunity for students who are in their final year of study. I was comfortable with that. We did put that a separate sort of section in the registration form for students, but it specifically tells them when they register that their confirmation is kind of contingent on this, the committee approving, allowing students to participate. So I don't know if people have questions or concerns about doing that. It doesn't, it's very clear that it does not then make them eligible. Do you know what I mean? It's just letting them participate in the training. So in the future, if they do apply to be added to the list, they could say that they completed the training. So I don't know if what folks' thoughts are on that.
Susan, is there a limit to the total number we will allow to register?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did actually decide to sort of try to cap it at what we had done in 2018, even though that was in person. So we had set it at 50, but that's certainly something that we can, I wouldn't want to preclude someone who's already eligible potentially to allow students to participate, right. If that's what your question is. So I think we'll have room for that. We wouldn't have to exclude a non-student.
Would it be possible to say that students and those not yet able to be fully eligible will be kept on a list, and whatever the registration deadline is, to the extent there are spots remaining, they'll have them?
Yeah, we can do that, Your Honor. Yes.
Anyone have any comment or question about that? The only other question I had in terms of sharing the link, if we haven't done it already, would it make sense to share it with the Connecticut Bar Association?
I think that's a great idea. So I can touch base with maybe the section section chair for the family law section, if that makes sense to folks, or.
I might even just share it. That's fine. That's Attorney McNamara. But there may be members of the Bar Association who may or may not be in that section who would be interested in doing this work.
Mm-hmm.
I think to that end, could we also share it with NASW?
You can.
LCSW?
Yep. Yeah, I wonder if there were a comparable group on the mental health side. Yeah, I think that makes sense. Anyone have any objection to sharing?
I can share it with NASW and make sure it's clear that when they share it, it's for LCSWs.
Okay.
I was also going to share it with our assigned counsel panel. Obviously, we have an assigned counsel panel that already does this work, but we also have obviously lawyers that do child protection work that might be interested in doing this as well. So I had intended to share that with them. They may see it on the website anyway, but I'll do that, and that should spread the word.
I'd be happy to send out an email to our licensees if you'd like, get them the word directly.
Great.
Yeah, and I suppose in terms of the numbers, if all this outreach leads to there being too many students to fit them all, I would leave it up to the committee if we go a few over, unless that creates some logistical problem, rather than arbitrarily have to turn away one or two people or a handful of people.
Yeah, I think it's fine, Your Honor, to go over. We sort of had just set that as a ballpark, right. Thinking that, we wouldn't necessarily need to, have the group larger. But given the virtual nature of it, we'll be able to fit, you know, many more people into the training when it's done this way. So I think I think that should be fine.
Do we want to then forget my idea of telling people they're on a waiting list? Just tell them they can take it?
You know, I'm thinking maybe because I don't know we're going to have too many students, although maybe the NASW outreach or the, because I thought about outreaching potentially to the law schools as well, and say for people who have done juvenile or family law classes and they're in their 3rd year, which would be completing right about now. You know, but so far, I don't know if we have any students actually registered. You know, that have completed the registration application. I know, Justine, I think you had mentioned somebody maybe from Quinnipiac that thought they had some students that might want to do it. So maybe we just leave it, you know, the student registration now sends them a link that says we've received their registration information, and we will confirm with them, you know, shortly, kind of thing. So we can monitor the numbers. It's only a couple weeks away. So, which is hard to believe. I don't know how June got here this fast, but I think we'll be okay.
All right. Well, that sounds great. Thank you again for all your work. I'll just note that under the practice book, section 25-61A, one of this committee's responsibilities is to officially approve the curriculum for this training. So it'd be appropriate to consider that at this time. And then maybe there's further discussion, but anyone wish to make a motion to approve the training as outlined in the materials we've been provided and as described by Attorney Hamilton here today as the curriculum for the training for guardian ad litem attorney for minor children applicants this year?
So moved, Your Honor.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion or any questions? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, the curriculum is approved, and the subcommittee has our gratitude for all the work that you've done and will be doing. And I look forward to having a chance to address the virtual participants at the first session. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda is schedule of future meetings. I think the training we just approved was one of the big issues we have, but I believe we have at least, I think there are 2 pending complaints. Attorney Bowler, is that right?
Attorney Bowler had to
Okay.
leave the meeting, Judge, but it's either 2 or 3 off the top of my head, so that are pending.
Right, and there's one that recently came in, and I would just say if anyone, and I know we've asked a lot of you to do double duty, but if anyone is willing and able to serve on a probable cause committee or the latest complaint that we received, just send me an email, please, and let me know. Otherwise, I'll be sending out an email looking for volunteers for that, and failing volunteers, recruiting somebody to do that. But I'd rather, I know you're all busy, you all have a lot going on, and I like to try to figure out who's in the best position at that point to take on the task, and that's best left to all of you. So if you can, in the next few days, if you're able to do it, send me an email, just let me know. So I don't know when, Damon, I know we typically would not meet during the summer months. And we're not quite at the summer, but we're pretty close. And several of you are going to be busy in the pre-service training in June. Other than any pending complaints, is there anything else that you can think of, Damon, that would require the committee's attention before the summer?
We would just be any other reinstatement requests that might come in for people having come off the list, but obviously we've dealt with all those that were pending up until this point. But we could get more of those, but other than that, I can't think of anything else.
any other members have an opinion on whether it's appropriate or necessary to try to schedule a meeting in June sometime, or to wait until September? My thought would be, why don't we tentatively agree we'll wait until September, and if an urgent need arises, we'll be in touch to try to pick a date before then. Does that make sense?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes.
And do we want to pick a September date now, or is it too early to be looking ahead that far? It seems that the Friday 2 p.m. times have generally worked. We've had a few schedule conflicts here and there, which is to be expected, but not too bad. Is that still the time that works best for people? I'm seeing a lot of nodding heads. So what if we picked in September, the Fridays? I'll stay away from the first week because that's a new court term week and tends to be a lot going on. But after that, it'd be the 10th, the 17th, or the 24th. Anyone have any either preferences or dates to stay away from? All right, how about if I pick the middle one and we say, Damon, have you already checked my schedule, my docket?
Oh, I figured that far out, but let me take a quick, I can take a very quick peek, so.
I'm a little embarrassed that Damon can figure out my docket faster than I can.
We can take a peek, let's see. Ah. Well, if what's in here winds up coming to fruition, Judge, you might be occupied.
Yeah, that will. That will. Thank you for.
Let me look at
Some cases have a better chance of settling than others, and I have a long history with that one. How about the 24th? September 24th at 2 p.m.
Okay.
Is that a problem for anybody? All right, then we'll plan that the next meeting will be Friday, September 24th at 2:00 p.m. Any other matters to come before the committee today?
No.
All right, well, thank you all. Thank you all for your work all year on the committee and the subcommittees in particular, which I know have been the bulk of the work. And I'm looking forward to the training, and I hope you all, if I don't see you before the summer, I know I'll see some of you, but not others. So please enjoy your summer, and if I don't see you sooner, I'll see you on September 24th.
That's great. Thank you.
Thank
you.
Bye, everybody.
Nice to see everybody. Enjoy the
Motion to
weekend.
adjourn. We have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
So moved.
Second,
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
you.
Thank you.